Latino Rebels Radio, Latino Rebels Radio, Latino Rebels Radio, on right now, Latino Rebels Radio live. We are live right now. It is Sunday, July 19th, 2015. This is Ricardo Arena, Julito 77, coming to you live from Latino Rebels Radio Land here on Blog Talk Radio. We're going hi-fi tonight. I don't know what that means, but we got upgraded. So whatever that means, I hope it sounds better. Anyway, before I bring in the lovely co-host, Shadi Delgadillo, just remember this is live radio. And we put it up the next day on our podcast, put it up on our site, LatinoLevels.com. We might put it up on YouTube. We share it with our social networks. You can find us at Latino Rebels. Search us Latino Rebels on Facebook. We're also on Tumblr. We're on Instagram. We're everywhere. And now, we have Shadi Delgadillo. How are you?
I'm doing quite well, Julio. Good to be on as always.
Always. I know.
Always. Yeah.
So, before we bring in Santa Elena, I need to ask you a couple of questions. How was your week? Just trying to be friendly here.
It was an actual calm weekend. It was actually raining out here in California. There was so much thunder. Okay, so there was rain, number one, so that's good for a drought. Number two, there was so much thunder in the middle of Echo Park, which is like right in the inner city of Los Angeles. Thunder struck some trees and were lit on fire. So that was quite the spectacle out here in LA, but I always think that, rain is better than nothing, even if it comes with thunder. So, it's been a rainy weekend and just been home, cooped up, and, just doing everything that's flooding the internet as always.
So anyway, you pretty much set up the first part of the show with Christian, and I've been out for a couple of days with family, and I'm just coming back. So we're going to bring in Janet Favela, who's community organizer for the Los Angeles Street Vendor Campaign. And Sharice, I really, I'm going to introduce Janet right here. Janet, how are you? You're with Sharice and Julio. How are you doing?
Hi, I'm doing great. Thank you for having me on.
Oh, no, it's a pleasure. So listen, Sharice, the way we work here is we actually bring stories, and some stories I'll take the lead, Sharice takes the lead on others. And since she brought the story to us, I'm going to turn it over to our fabulous, amazing co-host, leader of Latino Rebels Radio to kind of walk us through what's happening in LA right now with this crackdown on street vendors. So, Sharice, take it away.
Currently I actually used to work on the media campaign, the Los Angeles Street Vending Campaign, through the East LA Community Corporation, ran by the organizer, Janet Favela, who was organizing street vendors all throughout the city of Los Angeles and fielding large coalition efforts. So, Janet, we brought you on so you can talk about it. A lot of this, we have a, audience, and there's some people that might not know exactly what's happening here in Los Angeles. So why don't you just give us a little bit of a background? Who are these street vendors, and what's happening right now in the city of Los Angeles?
Yeah, thank you, Sherry. So, really what we're talking about, when we're talking about like the Los Angeles Street Vendor Campaign, is we're talking about sidewalk vendors, right? So it could be any vendor or person who decides to sell food or any other general merchandise. So it could be like our churro guy, the quesadilla lady, the big the bacon hot dogs, the lady who sells the sauce, the pillow guy, the travel person. All of those folks are who we are talking about when we're talking about street vendors. And it's estimated that there's about 50,000 of them who depend on street vending as their employment, and really as their small business. But what happens here in the city of Los Angeles is that although this has been a city that's known for its street food culture and just for street vending, it's still illegal to do what folks do, to make a living. And so municipal code here strictly prohibits vending on the sidewalks of Los Angeles. And it does not give folks the opportunity to apply for a permit, to pay for a permit, to be able to sell. So even if folks wanted to, and folks do want to, they have not been able to enter a legal system, right? And then they're left in the shadows. And because of that code, folks are criminalized. Those folks are exposed to the police, the Bureau of Street Services, and the county health department to crack down on them, to confiscate their equipment and take their livelihoods away. Folks can be ticketed up to $1,000. It happens on a regular basis. Folks can be, arrested, and sometimes that could lead to deportation. So it really criminalizes people's work when we have ordinances like these. The street vending campaign has really focused to work with street vendors to develop policy, to develop a movement where we're trying to legalize their work so that they can be respected, they can be incorporated into society and into the formal economy. And that should come with rights, right? Not with the criminalization from police. However, while we've been fighting this effort, thankfully we were able to bring Councilmember Price and Councilmember Lisa on board on the legalization effort. However, while we've been fighting for that, and thousands of vendors and community members have been coming out to support, there's other efforts that have been pushing street vendors more into the criminalization. Just a few weeks ago, a new ordinance passed that criminalizes vendors on parks. So that means that vendors can be ticketed, fined, arrested, etc. if they're vending anything in parks. When that wasn't in place for about a decade, and now it comes with a misdemeanor. So for a lot of our folks, the misdemeanor can really affect their livelihood and can really affect their ability to even attain legal status in the future. Now, there was a recent report that came out on media outlets here in Los Angeles. How much money does street vending generate for the city? Yeah, thank you for bringing up that report. We're grateful to the Economic Roundtable for having come up with that report, and for UCLA partners who have supported in surveying street vendors throughout the city of Los Angeles. We were able to find out that street vendors generate over $500 million, in economic stimulus. That they add over 5,000 full-time jobs outside of their industry, given that their industry exists, right? Street vendors go to different warehouses, to different places to shop for their stuff, right? All these different industries are impacted in a positive way when street vendors are here in the city, and they can even grow as industries, and we can have new industries be created if only we facilitated legalization for these entrepreneurs. And who are these people that are fighting against the legalization or your efforts to implement a permit system? Who are these forces fighting against that, and why? Yeah, I think more recently we've seen a small coalition. I think they're called the Coalition to Save Small Businesses or something like that. But it's a coalition of about a few folks, but they're really, funded and backed by the Central City Association here in Los Angeles, and who's here to protect developers and the interests of folks who, are trying to redevelop and gentrify downtown Los Angeles.
and but we you think that it's linked to some kind of gentrification at the same time, like the cleaning up. I think when we're Sharice, I think when we're talking about street vending and the criminalization of street vending, in many degrees, we're also talking about gentrification and we're talking about displacement of folks from neighborhoods, where street vending has been popular, right? But those neighborhoods are now being gentrified, and in order to make those neighborhoods sometimes palpable for other folks coming into the neighborhood, there's crackdowns that happen against street vendors. We see it a lot in Echo Park and Boyle Heights, in certain parts of South Central.
Yeah.
Now, go ahead.
Yeah. I just want to say this for a second because one of the things that Jenna brings up is sort of the perception of street vendors, and I think you kind of touched it on a couple of things, Janet, where people are, they're criminalizing them, and most often than not, it's about people that are trying to make a living. So, what have you heard? What are the stories that you've heard about LAPD? How are they treating these? I want to know more about what people have been saying, when they get arrested, or are they being accused of doing other things besides selling food, or are people saying that the food is unsanitary? Like, how is this becoming? You know what I mean? It's like, are they being targeted? I just want to get a better sense of the stories that you've heard.
Yeah, definitely. I think the way that street vendors see it on a regular basis, they are being targeted. They feel like they are being targeted by LAPD and by other enforcement agencies, right? Because they just see their everyday life, just working to make a living, right? And when this is something that they depend on so much, and sometimes it's on a daily basis, sometimes it's on a weekly basis, that they're enforced upon, their stuff is confiscated, When a street vendor has their stuff confiscated, it could be as little as $100 of an investment and as much as a few $1,000s of an investment that folks are losing when their stuff is confiscated. And generally, although it should be policy at LAPD that folks are able to get their stuff back, for the most part, when you do legal clinics with street vendors, majority of folks have never seen a receipt when their stuff has been confiscated, and the majority of them have never been able to get their stuff back, which is a right that they should have when their stuff is confiscated, But oftentimes what the street vendors report is that, they're mobbed, that they feel very harassed, they feel persecuted, when their stuff is thrown away, when they're laughed at, when they're asked for their legal status and those types of things, or where they're threatened about their legal status, being a concern, those types of things happen. At the very worst of it, some folks report, coming out of their homes and being met by police officers waiting for them, kind of as a dare, are you going to come out to aid event? And folks just feel so trapped. Many times, and that's not something that they want to have. That's not a relationship that they want to have with authorities, with the police, right? Because it's not conducive to healthy community, right? When folks don't feel like they can count on the authorities when other things happen, just because, I'm selling tamales, just because we're hustling and trying to make a living. That's not okay, But I think sometimes, police officers say it's a biggest complaint.
I want to get more of the specifics before I turn it back to Shanice, because me being someone who's looking at this, probably not living it as much as some of my West Coasters over here. I'm really curious as to, okay, let's say I'm living in LA. Do people call the cops? First of all, do they say hey, there's a guy selling they're here, and who's calling these? Are they being called, or are they being targeted? You know what I mean? People are calling. Who are the people calling? Is it people in the community? Is it other people that have moved in that aren't trying to the community? I just want to know more about the people that are calling or calling cops.
Yeah, for sure. I think it's a combination of a lot of those things. I think sometimes police officers take it upon themselves
So sometimes they talk to the street vendors kind of like in a gang mentality type of way, right? Like where they're like, this is my turf and I don't want you in my turf. And those types of things, I think sometimes it is those small business owners, that sometimes feel like there's unfair competition, whether it's through improvement that street vendors affected. However, in the economic stimulus report that just came out, it shows that they don't necessarily affect small business owners when their street vendors close by. But there's perception that there's unfair competition, and sometimes folks make those calls. Sometimes we understand that there's folks who are recently moved into the neighborhood, right? And might not want and make those phone calls. And sometimes, it is like, in East LA, we know that there's like a specific group of folks, who are the NIMBYs, the not in my backyard kind of folks, who take it upon themselves to as individuals, make 30 calls a day. And it happens like that sometimes, in the valley right now we have a situation where a group of some of our vendors are being targeted by this one gentleman every Sunday outside of church, and he decides to call the police incessantly, and the police just have to tell us, if he calls, we have to come out. No matter what, we understand what he's doing, but we still have to come out, right? And they're specifically targets like a group of vendors who've been selling some folks came since 1995, right? But this folks gentlemen decided to target them about 3 months ago.
Wow. So, Chris, before I turn it over to you, I just want to let people know that we tweeted out the UCLA study called The Spatial Politics of Street Vending in Los Angeles. One of our listeners, Dr. Mimi, tweeted it to us. And if people are listening to this podcast or listening to live, or if you're listening, we're going to link to it when we turn it into the podcast. But if you're listening to live and want to read more about what people are saying, and there's a really good study called The Spatial Politics of Street Vending in Los Angeles that we just tweeted out. Sorry, Sharice, you can take over.
Cool, no problem. Yeah, thanks for mentioning that. Jen, just to give into perspective, Jen, Los Angeles is the only major city in the United States that doesn't have some kind of permit system for street vending, correct? What are some other cities that do have that? Just so, yeah, that's correct. Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, that's correct. I think one of the examples that most folks use as, a street food city that's recognized is New York. New York has had a system of sidewalk vending for a long time already, right? It's been established there for a while. It has those two vendors over there have their own concerns given permit caps and, other things that happen there. But there is the system under which folks work. In Portland, there's another system that has been working and it's very effective for the population there. And actually, the city, it's very welcoming to small entrepreneurs by, assisting and making the process easy, making the website very easy to navigate, making the permit system might be able to be, faster and not as complicated as other cities do. Here in the city of Los Angeles, a lot of our folks feel like they might have a permit, right, because they went through an office and got a seller's permit. Other folks got a business permit, or other folks got a different type of permit. However, none of those things give folks the right to then legally on the sidewalks of Los Angeles right now, And that's what they want right now, street vendors, a system where the work will be legalized and they'll be able to get a permit, by going to one office, and working through that process. And be supported, they want to be supported with technical assistance. They want to be able to go to their businesses, and all those things are things that the city of Los Angeles can support in doing.
And so, Janet,
does Chicago? Go ahead. Go ahead. Sorry. Yeah. Does Chicago? Chicago's another city that is not.
Yeah, Chicago's another city. Yeah, Chicago's another city that has a type of vending system. And some vendors there are also fighting to expand that system.
Hey, I just know that a couple of listeners asked us, so I just wanted to. I'm looking at our Twitter feed and making sure because people really love conversation. So I just want to make sure I added a couple of questions. So please continue.
So, Janet, from my time working with you on this campaign, there was a lot of trolls on the campaign. A lot of people, bringing up that the food is unhygienic. There's no regulation of quality control. People don't want, street vendors, proliferating anywhere on the sidewalk. And then you have a lot of businesses that they don't want street vendors in front of their business, who's going to take away their business. So, what have been some of these? You've been working with the Street Vendor Coalition and with thousands of street vendors, and working to propose solutions directly to the city and with city council. What have been some of those solutions that you've been working towards, and what are some of the solutions to answer some of those concerns from people who already have such a negative perception on street vendors, and what are the street vendors saying that they want? What kind of system do they want to work with?
Right. Yeah, I think that you bring up a good point because a lot of the folks that are opposed seem to be opposed with thinking that we're pushing for a blanket legalization where whatever folks are doing now, that's going to be legalized. And that's not necessarily what we're pushing for, right? Like we've been working for years with street vendors to develop a type of policy or system that they feel is appropriate for the city of Los Angeles and appropriate for them as vendors, And one of those things is understanding that when we're talking about food and food handling, that we understand that there's already a system in place under which folks can, have their cars inspected and permitted by the county health department. That system already exists. It's the same system in place that is used by food trucks. That system's in place. However, there's no incentive for the folks to use that system when even if they have one of those parts right now, they can still be cited by LAPD. They can still be targeted because it is still illegal to spend on the sidewalks of Los Angeles. So what we say to folks who are so concerned about, the health impact or the health risk of street food is that, legalizing vending is only going to improve the conditions, right? So that folks are able to work within the system, and if necessary, to get the support and the education in place so that folks understand, why we need to keep certain temperatures at certain levels, et cetera, and why, having utensils, they're clean, right, and they're not, going from one food to another is important. Those types of things are things that folks can learn and folks are hungry for, However, we need to create those supports so that folks can plug into those systems, Folks are talking about the proliferation of street vending and folks saying, oh my goodness, there's going to be 10,000 vendors right in front of my doors and my business is going to close down, We say that that's not the case, right? Because when we're talking about the infrastructure in the city of Los Angeles and when we're looking at sidewalks, the possibility for street vendors to set up in those ways does not exist. But we have fire hydrants, we have benches. We understand that there will be a need to respect ADA access, right? That folks on wheelchairs and children on strollers will be able to pass safely through a sidewalk. We understand those things. Vendors understand those things, right? And so the proliferation of street vending, I think is a myth, but we already have 50,000 street vendors in the city of Los Angeles, right? They exist, but they exist at different levels. Some folks spend on an everyday basis, but a lot of folks do it on weekends, do it at certain days. Certain folks depend on it as a seasonal thing, a few times a year. And we think that those types of vending systems should be supported, right? Because folks are depending on this as a means of survival. When we're talking even about enforcement in the future when street vending is legalized, street vendors feel that the city should really look at focusing on an education-based approach, right? To inform vendors of the new system, right? To train folks, to give people the technical assistance, the ability even to access small loans to be able to enter the system. Those types of things are the things that street vendors are talking about, Some street vendors are even interested in nutrition classes, to be able to expand their menus into a different type of population. Some vendors are doing vegetarian food now. Those are the possibilities that we have with the legalization of street vending. All right. Hula, do you have any more questions?
No, I'm good. I've learned a lot. I mean, one of the things, Jenna, this is probably one of the issues that not many people know. I mean, I just wonder, I do have one more question before then we ask where we can find more information. But I still get stuck on the fact that, LA is such a, it's such a multi-ethnic town, right? And how much of this is a cultural disconnect in a way? How much is this playing into sort of the bigger issue here, where are people in LA just seeing these street vendors as not something that they're used to, or I just want to get a better sense because I come from New York and I come from Puerto Rico, and I sit here and I'm like, this is what I grew up with, and especially Puerto Rico. So I just wonder, is there a cultural misunderstanding? Are people angry? I'm trying to get my head around why is this such an issue? Why has this become such a contentious issue, and why do you organize? And that's where I'm kind of, you know what I mean? It's like, and I'm trying to explain, why is this happening? And is it because people see these street vendors as being not part of their world, and it's like it's ruining my gentrifying world of LA? That's where I'm kind of stuck. Can you just expand a little bit more on that before we end the combo?
Yeah, definitely. I think, street vending has been happening here in LA, in this way for a really long time. So it's not necessarily that, street vending didn't exist in the city of Los Angeles and now it's so crazy to people, But in many ways, you just bring up a good point about, some folks coming back from the suburbs into the city, right? And perhaps not being as familiar, to what the rest of us grew up with here in the city of Los Angeles, which is street vending. And so, a lot of folks that are opposed to the show up to city council to talk about downtown and gentrification as a positive thing, right? And as progress, right? And sometimes they get so stuck in, boutique stores and those types of things being progress, whereas we don't think about this as entrepreneurship as progress, and that's where we're making a huge mistake as the city of Los Angeles, because street vending in Los Angeles has been part of our past, it's part of our present, and it's going to be part of our future.
Exactly. Yeah,
it just needs to create a system and support folks.
Yeah, because I think the first time I went to LA was in the early 90s, and I was like, wow, this is, you know what I mean? It's like, I went to parts of downtown LA that have changed. And, I don't even recognize downtown LA anymore. And that's the part that gets boggled my mind, because I'm like, wait a minute, this has been happening in LA for so long. And why now? Why now? Because now downtown is desirable, or and border, those parts are desirable, and it's something that has been part of the cultural fabric, whether in LA or whether in Latin America, it's not seen as good for LA. That's the part that just boggles my mind. And are now living there going, I mean, that's just sad. I mean, maybe that's just...
Yeah, and I think it's that. I think it's folks not even understanding what a cultural and economic pressure street vending is in the city of Los Angeles, right? It creates like this cultural exchange, it adds to the vibrancy of the street, it adds so many things to the city of Los Angeles, and we're making a huge mistake, like by criminalizing instead of, supporting the growth of it,
I mean, what LA's about. Yeah. I mean, I sit here and I'm like, this is LA. Like, don't change LA. Anyway, so we're going to find more about your campaign.
Yeah, more about. Yeah, folks can get plugged in. I think one of the easiest ways is to follow us on Facebook by following the Los Angeles Street Vendor Campaign. And I think that'll be a great way for folks to plug in and to be supportive, because I think it's not enough to just say, oh, wow, we love street vendors, and we don't want them to be criminals. A lot of us can do a lot about it, and we just went through 4 public forums in the city of Los Angeles, and we're being, asked to do even more. Although there's been predominant support for street vendors, we're going to have to go through 2 more of those public forums in August, and we really want people to come out and support and show their love for street vendors. So on Facebook, the Los Angeles Street Vendor Campaign.
So all you Los Angeles listeners out there in Southern California, I should listen to Latino Local Radio because Chevy Calladillo is a radio star now. Like you guys know, if you believe in this, go to the forum. Go to the forum out there. Keep us posted. Janet, thank you so much for your time. Really appreciate it.
Thank you. Thank you, Janet.
Take care.
All right, thank you guys.
Those trees, I mean,
yeah,
that was, you can't change LA. Come on. This part's LA, it's like, that just can't happen. It just can't happen, trees.
I mean, it's just like the paleta guy with the little bell going through the park. Now that's illegal? I mean, really? I mean, come on. That's like part of our childhood. That's like part of the noise that we do.
I mean, that's just,
and there's such a, it's like this such a mistrust, with like people that have all I think with, it's just this mistrust I feel like with, with a lot of the gentrification and people coming into like the neighborhood, they don't feel safe. We're like this like threat, because they don't know, or they don't trust. So what's being put in the food, or it just makes the landscape look dirty, seeing like.
That's the part where it's like, that's the part that does, because it's like, we're talking about, what you just said it, like, the paleta man, right?
Okay.
I think the paleta man, like, I mean, we have become a nation where the paleta man is now seen as criminal. I mean, seriously? Like, that's what's happening in LA?
And I don't agree with what Janet, and part of this also is that there's a large number of immigrant women as well that are actually a lot of street vendors, because this is, culturally, they cook and they, sell their, atole and corn, and so this is, when they crack down, I mean, the city also cracks down a lot of immigrant women, and this is their only, and if they don't have papers, how else are they going to make money? So, it's affecting people negatively. I've heard stories, I've gone to school with people who were supported throughout their life because their parents were street vendors. And that's how they were able to get through. And, the university, and
I know. I mean, it's like, I have friends of mine. I mean, I'm not trying to, like, overgeneralize here, but this is the fabric of the city. I mean, this is part of the city. This is what makes parts of LA. And to think that that's seen as a nuisance and that's seen as an annoyance or as an insult it's just wrong. It's just wrong. Sorry. It's just, I mean, and you would think, like, in this day and age, Sharice, like, you would have to have a campaign about people giving you food. Like, that's what it's like, we have to organize to save these streets. And I'm sitting here going, have you been to New York? Street meat at 2 o'clock in the morning?
yeah, I don't
a lot of the people who really have a strong organizational pull against street vending are actually a lot of the associations that businesses belong to, brick and mortar businesses belong to, and they're the ones that are really sitting up to fight. All of a sudden, they just feel threatened. And so because
people like paletas, people like paletas, and they don't like, soy lattes. Just like, that's crazy. Anyway, we're going to tweet out, Christian is going to tweet out a story out of MSNBC from last year when a street vendor who actually sold elote and sent both his kids to medical and law school. Yeah. So there you go. This is an example of a street vendor who decided to, and I think it's going to get tweeted out right now, decided to like literally raise their kids, raise money for college. So, wow. So anyway, so you'll keep us posted, right? About
of course. And their Facebook also is regularly updated. It's an ongoing campaign, but there was just like a recent decision from City Council to restrict street vendors in certain parks. And, people who know offenses in other areas like Echo Park, Highland Park, Boyle Heights, all the Latino enclaves of Los Angeles are prime targets for a lot of the gentrification. There's, a lot of crackdown. I guess, now that's happening as well. With street vendors not being allowed for like the newly renovated parks, that are being restored and cleaned up. All of a sudden, they don't want, street vendors being there. So.
Yeah, and that's like, we're looking at the Twitter profile of the Twitter timeline. Dr. Nimi, who is one of our top fans, says, this is a good one, gentrifiers want farmers market. They don't want street vendors, so that's true. I mean, it's like, God forbid, there's a Somali lady, and there's a guy in front of my high-end, handcrafted pizza store or whatever. Anyway, it's crazy.
Well,
it's crazy. Well, it's a good story.
But to get more into the case, I mean, there are actually, the city can also propose for certain areas to allow for street vendors as well. So, I mean, it doesn't just have to have, you don't have to have farmers market. I mean, those are for people who are growing agriculture. All of these people have access to farmland to grow and have set up booths, set up shop. It's different, so that's just the way it is right now.
All right, listen, James posted. Good stuff. Good story. I'm pretty sure that a lot of people are talking about it in the calls. Anyway, so we're going to shift gears a little bit to Latino Rebels Radio live. It is 38 minutes into the hour, and we're here with Rico 77 and Black Shadis, Shadis Radio. And we really wanted to focus on this story out of LA, and then Sharice is like, what are we going to talk about next? So I'm like, oh yeah, we got another 20 minutes. We're going to talk about Sharice. So anyway, I do want to talk about something, and it has to do with Netflix that happened yesterday. And it was the videos of the Black Lives Matter protests that happened with, when Mark O'Malley, presidential candidate, Democratic presidential candidate, and Bernie Sanders both appeared in Phoenix at Netroots. And the time I feel level say right now, people have been talking about it. Jose Antonio Vargas was the moderator, I believe, and it just created it created an uproar in our community, in a lot in the progressive circles that are following that route. Did you catch the videos at all, Sharice?
I did. I watched the video with O'Malley saying saying that Black Lives Matter, White Lives Matter, all of
that was nice. I mean, that was just, that was bad. Because, I mean, it's one of those, like, how did you not know that that type of phrasing has such a, it's such a connotation right now that if anyone that has been following Twitter for the last year would understand that that's not the point of the Black Lives Matter movement. But what do you think about it overall? Why don't you like your thoughts on it? And we're gonna, what are your thoughts? Like, why do you saw what?
I mean, I did. That was a portion of the video that I was able to catch, like for the show. And I think the frustration is, I think people really need to understand the frustration with so many police killings happening around it, and they need it directly addressed and not those generalized saying Black Lives Matter. All lives matter. That's because those are the people who are being targeted. And I don't think that anyone, and I don't think anyone in the crowd is thinking the opposite of that. But when your ethnic group is specifically being racially profiled and killed unarmed exponentially by police, and a lot of the policemen, yes, some are white and some are not. It's just the police in general, and the police, of the black community. So it's just, we just really need to get it turned it, like address it the way it really is. And I think that's where a lot of the frustration comes from. It's like it doesn't need to get watered down. And it's not just communities of color that are being targeted. Los Angeles, we had another police shooting caught on videotape of someone who was unarmed, a Latino man unarmed. So, just like saying it's black and it's white, I mean, you're just leaving out everyone else in between that's also been affected by police enforcement. And so, it was just really bad. I mean, I don't think he, meant like white power or anything by that. But like, it just sounds really bad. Like, that doesn't need to be.
Yeah, no, I just think it's how do we say it? It's not understanding that a lot of what's being discussed on social media, especially on Twitter, that anyone that's following a campaign, if you're running a campaign, it's not that hard to understand what the points are from the Black Lives Matter movement. I mean, anyone that's working for a campaign can just go to hashtag Black Lives Matter right now on Twitter and spend pretty much 15 minutes and understand what the issues are. So it's not like people are, it's not like this type of point of view is being hidden. It's just being talked about in a lot of different formats that are not traditional political formats. And that was just a case of a candidate who did not understand the issue. In the same way, there's, Bernie Sanders came out late, and she seemed a little bit perturbed, and I want to share a hashtag that came out of this. I don't know if you've seen this series, but Bernie so black. Yeah, so it's hashtag Bernie so black. Trended on Twitter. So it was started by Roderick Morrow, who's the host of the Black Guys and Chips podcast, and he started a hashtag called Bernie so black. And if you see it, it really talks to, again, the disconnect of political candidates who think that they understand what the issue is and really don't. Obviously, the problem with some of these hashtags that it might go too far. I think there's some that maybe I'm just getting old in life. I wouldn't go there when you're defacing someone personally. I mean, I think there's valid points when you have a candidate who missed the boat, and I think Sanders didn't handle himself well either. But one of the things that Sanders' Twitter profile did, and this has been mentioned a couple of times in a couple of outlets, is you know, he's talking about, you know, about the Seder name, which was Sandra Bland. You know what happened, and he changed that tweet to not say because people were chanting. So you can tell that these politicians still don't have a coherent plan. But what's interesting about all this, Reese, is that you have two pretty much progressive Democratic politicians who were there and just got, you know, that was just, it is not good, as they say, it is not good politics. And it was really important that people understand what the issues are. But no one's talking about the fact that Hillary Clinton wasn't even active. You know, I think if Hillary Clinton was at that through, like, and this happened, I would think Hillary Clinton would have gotten as much, if not more, of a reaction, a negative reaction, than O'Malley and Sanders. And what this becomes is a lack of understanding about what Black Lives Matter really is. And what's that voice? And people see it, you know, when you come in and you do it and you're not of that world. And that's a big thing. Because I think you see a lot in the immigrant rights community when you see politicians, you know, start pandering to immigration when they have really no clue what it means. I think that's happening as well in this situation. And I just thought it was interesting because a lot of our community has been following Black Lives Matter, and it raises a lot of issues. One, the other issue that raised for me is like, is a Bernie Sanders or Mark O'Malley really going to be holding the torch for Black Lives Matter? It's almost like they were uncomfortable, and that was quite telling. You know, will it make them better people? I don't know. I mean, but in the end, the politicians and that's a bigger. The politicians will do as a politics. You know, we'll see. But I know, it was just one of the things that has been on me thinking about for the last day. And I also wonder, like, Hillary Clinton, like, she didn't even go.
Yeah, that's what I was about to ask you. I mean, and let's just say hypothetically, if she would have gone, do you think that the audience would have reacted that harshly towards her, or it's easier to react more harshly towards progressive candidates if you expect more out of them and they're not living up to your expectations? How do you think like that would? I mean, I guess it's a hypothetical question. But let's just say Hillary Clinton fumbled in some way.
She wouldn't have gotten in that situation because that's the thing about Hillary Clinton. Like, she wouldn't have, you know, would have brought in that situation. Like, there was no way Hillary Clinton was going to be a member. There was no way. Like, it just wasn't even part of the conversation. It wasn't even a possibility. So what does that say? Especially when, you know, Netflix was in Arizona and you talk about Black lives and brown lives and you know, the issues, and we've talked about this too, the issues of how those movements actually have a lot in common. And a lot of the movements, in those movements, there's still a lot of people trying to figure it out. And I think there's different strategies. But at the same time, it got attention, right? It's on YouTube, and people are talking about it. And so me is always effective. I mean, my mind is racing. I mean, I've been thinking about this for the last day. I don't even think I'm coherent. I don't even think I'm coherent. But because, and it's not like it didn't surprise me, but what it was, the Black Lives Matters protest didn't surprise me. I would think, like, in that route, that was going to happen. This is a good place to do it. You do it, considering the issue. What also didn't surprise me was the uncomfortableness of two white men who were looking at this through the lens of politicians. That didn't surprise me either. And that's where I see a lot of the disconnect, a lot of the sort of the misunderstanding. It's not even anything misunderstanding is not that strong a word. I really think it's like pure ignorance. Like I really think like it's a desire to not really understand what these really vocal, they were very respectful. I thought the women that came on, like they were like, I'm going to speak, and you know what to speak, and it was, but they didn't know how to handle it. So anyway,
what was it that Bernie Sanders said? Because I heard O'Malley, but I didn't hear Sanders. What was it that invoked a reaction against him that he said?
Well, he kind of didn't. He kind of like something happened in the room, and he professed to not know what happened. So he kind of came in and said, I want to talk about my points first. So sort of this man of the people moment, it was more of like, hey, I'm a politician. And I think he lost an opportunity to truly understand what had just happened. And so instead, when people panic, they stick to their talking point, as opposed to, here's an opportunity to be human and real and understand. And one of the things that he said was, well, I worked on civil rights questions. If you don't want me here, I'm not here to get outshouted. So it's kind of like this, like, ouch, yeah. You know what I mean?
That's really bad.
I'm liberal and blah, blah, blah. So, but, I've done things in the past, and that's where I think in the end, you can say whatever you want, but Bernie Sanders, Mark O'Malley, like, this is all part of the system. And there's a part of the Black Lives Matter movement, or from what I understand, is that it is about, shaking the tree or taking the tree down and building a new tree. And that's a completely different approach than someone who's being political and trying to win an election. And that tension's going to be there. You know what I mean?
But are they still willing to work in terms of creating some systematic reform?
Yeah, I mean,
because I understand, like, hey, like, white guy politician, he doesn't get it, he's not down, like, they're saying they're fumbling on stage, they're nervous, there's an angry black crowd in front of them, and they freak out, right? Like, they're just, like, dumb in that way. They don't really know how to relate to people. But at the same time, like, are they, and I don't know, just a little bit, like, are they willing to meet some of these demands, for example, having, like community oversight, are they still willing to work in meeting some of these reforms?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's all about timing. I think it's a lost opportunity for these politicians to realize that this was a bigger issue, and that reach actually has some presence online. So it was a missed opportunity for these candidates to say, you know what, I'm showing up with, I understand what the issue is here, and here's my platform, and I want to talk about it. I mean, I think it was a missed opportunity. I wouldn't be surprised if O'Malley this week releases something that he might have been holding back. I also saw a couple of videos where he came on later with This Week in Blackness, and I believe Blue Nation Review, where he's trying to really apologize or said, when people say, like, it wasn't my intention, just say you goofed. Just say, like, That was stupid.
What did he say his intention was to say White Lives Matter? What was his intention behind that?
No, his intention was he didn't know. He pretty much didn't know that was intention. Like, that was at the end of it. And I'm like, why don't you just say, I messed up? Like, forgive me. I'm like, I totally messed up. He totally, like, screwed that one up. And I promise you that I've listened. You guys are spot on. I believe in what you're saying, and I'm going to share a couple things this week that I hope you can understand where I'm coming from. If I can't convince you, I totally get it. But, give me a shot. Like, why can't we be a little... That's the part where it's like, it's okay to say you screwed up. You know what I mean? It's just a different approach as opposed to saying, like, oh, here's the way I'm going to deal with this, or we have a spinner. And just don't spin it. Just say it. Just say it. Like, it's just here and it's digital media. Like, get it out there. Anyway.
Well, but it seems like when he said, it almost seems like when he said something like that, it was almost intentional. So, I mean, I don't think he said that by accident. I mean, I'm sure that he...
I think he was being political. I think he was afraid to admit that I didn't want to offend other people who might not believe in what Black Lives Matter. You know what I'm saying? Like, you're trying to get the political answer. And by giving the political answer in a crowd that is not looking for a political answer, you're just digging yourself in a hole. So, you live, you learn, but I just don't know. I mean, and reality is, I go back to Clinton, I'm like, you weren't even there? You weren't even there, Hillary.
Yeah.
She wasn't even there. And what does that say? No one sounds like
solicited? Was she solicited to attend?
I'm sure she was. I'm sure. I mean, I have to look at. You can't have Sanders and O'Malley or Democrat or Hillary Clinton. Like, why is she not there? Like, what does that mean? What message does that send? But anyway, I don't know. It's just so much to think about. And I wanted to talk about it a little bit, get it off my chest because it's been on for the last 2 days. What's bothering me in the sense of like how everyone, it's how people react to it. So it's created a lot of interesting conversations, both good and bad, about this. Maybe it leads to something else, and maybe, some people think it's one strategy, some people think it's another. But why are you be so defensive about people? I mean, this is supposed to, Netflix is supposed to be where Democratic candidates actually play around and do things. Like, what are they going to tell Sanders and O'Malley when we're candidates? Oh, you're too progressive? Like, the Republicans are going to be like, you're a freaking socialist. Like, so be a socialist with yourself. You know what I mean? Like, be who you are in a place where you can be who you are. Anyway, like, people are like, oh, gotta stick in the middle of the road. Don't want to, it's like, when you're wishy-washy, nothing happens. And I think young people realize that. I think
definitely.
Yeah, and I think it's being so underestimated. And this just really, like, focused on, but anyway, we can keep talking about it at some point. We're talking about politics a lot more, but this is a really good show. What'd you think? I liked it.
I liked it. But I really liked it.
I like when you, like, take over. I don't lose my voice.
You're so chatty. Yeah.
Yeah, I am so chatty. We're actually interesting show about prison reform in the next week or two. We'll probably get Kate Hernandez. We'll probably get National Institute of Drug Policy. We're talking about this. It's going to be a great show. We'll show what we do next week. Donald Trump might mess up, or someone's going to say something stupid about Latinos. We'll probably be talking about it. But anyway, this is Latino Realms Radio. We're going to go away and listen to each other. We'll be out of here. Stay there.